we gonna have a good time and keep you in the know. Let all your trouble go. In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know.
Hey, everybody. It's Saturday, and you already know it's time for the In the Know radio show. You're probably like, what's that on your head? Well, let me let you know what's going on. What's been going on? Kevin's like, what's happening? Guys, I think I shared with you that I am running for Miss Black Florida, and as of now, I am Miss Black Jacksonville, representing for Duval. You already know. So you're going to be seeing me out and about in the community, and today I have an incredible interview set up. We're going to get our money together, okay? And I'm going to be listening in. Trust me, because I got to get some things tightened up. Say what's up, Kev.
Hello, hello.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Can you hear?
Coming to you live from the studios of the Victory Station.
Happy Saturday, all of my Duval family and friends, and wherever you are watching us around the world, happy Saturday, and thank you for spending your time with me on the In the Know radio show from the Victory Station, AM 1360, FM 94.7. Listen, we are so grateful that we survived the storm. Helene could not touch Jacksonville the way that it thought it could because we are covered by the blood, and we thank God that we suffered just minimal damage, just a little bit of debris, some power outages, but we are on the other side of it, and for that we are grateful. On this Saturday, now listen, it is some national days, and I just want to kind of highlight a few of them. Today, September 28th, is National North Carolina Day. So all of you that are from North Carolina, I know my best friend is from North Carolina. I have family from North Carolina, so it's your day today. Today is also, and this is one of my favorite, Strawberry Cream Pie Day. Okay, I don't know where this came from, but I'm grateful that it's here. So that means when I leave the station, I need to be going to get some strawberry cream pie. Okay? Just to kind of treat me and celebrate this day. Another one, which I had the opportunity before I even came here to pray with my neighbors. It's National Good Neighbor Day. So for those of you who are to yourself and you're like, I'm not outgoing like that, let today be an encouragement for you to shed some light, shed some goodness and some grace to your neighbor today by doing something kind. And then the last one is National Family Health and Fitness Day. Listen, the weather, it's cooperating. So do something healthy, do something fit for your bodies, do something with your family, go for a walk, go for a run, go to a park, do something for your bodies on today. So we have so many opportunities today on these national days. But you already know I have an incredible interview set up for you. And it's a great time for this interview too, guys. Because listen, we're about to go into the fourth quarter. I cannot believe it. The fourth quarter of 2024. I can't believe it. So we need to make sure that we're ready to finish strong in spirit, in our social life, in our spiritual life, in our lives with our family, and what we're going to talk about today, the money, and our financial lives. So who I have in the audience today? In the studio audience today, I have Mr. Kevin Brown. Kevin is a proud native of Jacksonville, Florida, and is deeply committed to serving his community. As a finance professional, he channels his passion for youth and financial wellness into empowering students. Beyond his professional role, Kevin extends his impact by actively participating on various boards dedicated to promoting goodwill and positive change within the local community. Kevin is a husband and a father, but above all, the priority, the most important title, he is a son of God. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, snap it up, clap it up for Mr. Kevin Brown.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Listen, Kevin and I, we go back. I didn't even know it, but we go back, you know, in the church world. And so we actually reconnected last year at an event that was being hosted at his church. And then here recently, I've just been so proud and just so inspired by what you're doing in the community. Man, it seems like every day there's a new project, there's a new reach, there's a new audience of people that you are informing and empowering on what they can do just to be financially wealthy and happy and whole, all those different things. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Man, Kevin just flew in. You know, he had an event earlier today, so he had to make some time to come here today. And I'm so glad, because I think this conversation is going to be informative. And before we even get started, I want to make sure that you have the phone number to call in. We're going to open up the phone lines if you have any questions throughout the show. And our phone number is 904-766-9285 or 904-766-3401. So anytime throughout the show, if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. So Kevin, you're from here.
I am.
Are you from out east, is what my other friend said? Out east?
I'm from the north side.
I'm from the north side.
Yes,
Okay.
on the north side.
Okay, that's what it is. What school did you go to?
So I graduated from Robert E. Lee Senior High School, now known as Riverside High School, but to me it's still Lee.
Let's still
It
Lee.
will always be Lee.
Yes. And what college did you go to?
So I went to FSCJ.
Okay.
Yes.
I did too.
Yeah,
Hey,
FSCJ.
it's the way.
Absolutely.
You know, and our gosh, it's not even really community college anymore. It's been upgraded. We
Yeah.
have so many different programs, and it's such a great option. I don't even want to say an alternative. It's such a great option whenever you kind of already know what field you want to go into.
Yeah.
One that's really more localized, more community based. Just a great university. So you're in finance. Take us down that road. What inspired you, and maybe what motivated you to pursue this type of field?
As a kid, I always knew I wanted to have money.
Okay, that's a good motivator.
Well, that was the first thing.
Yeah.
But as far as a career or profession, I simply wanted to carry a briefcase and work in a tall building. And so my dad would take me and my brothers, downtown back when they had the Landon. And so we would see these big buildings, and they were, banks. And I just always wanted that. And so I kind of started that journey. Right after high school, started working with Wells Fargo. Well, at the time they were Wachovia Bank.
Okay.
Started as 20-hour teller.
Yes.
Just kind of getting my foot in the door, and I just began to grow my professional career. I even worked in collections for a while.
Oh.
That was different. Working in collections.
I can relate. I actually worked in collections as well when I was in college. I did collections, and I did, oh my goodness, of course the name of it lost me, but it was the department where you had to do the research to find the person that you're trying to collect on. So you're calling the neighbors, you're calling the jobs.
I actually enjoyed that part.
Did you?
I did. Because I was hunting for, that's goals, that's playing with my money. So I was hunting for your cousins, aunties. Yes. Have you heard from them?
Have you heard? Uh-huh.
Yes.
You have to really have a strong backbone for that type of department too.
Absolutely, because they will hurt your feelings.
You hear me?
Hang up in your face.
And you better have those rebuttals nice and quick.
Absolutely.
So you worked in collections.
From collections, went back into working in the branches, and I had the opportunity to start teaching financial literacy to kids. or I should say going to different businesses, talking about the bank products and what we had to offer. That led me to teaching financial wellness. And over time, I was like, I think this is what I like. And so I began to pursue a career that was solely based on me providing financial wellness to young adults. And you have to understand, when I didn't really care for kids. But I will say,
it's an anointing.
You gotta have it,
and it's a grace.
The grace is on me.
Listen,
it gotta be on you, because I get to work with high schoolers, and I will tell you, they are just the highlight. I have yet to have a bad day. Now, yes, you have those moments in your day where they may get a little bit, flusteration, as I like to say, as Ms. Jamie said. But I enjoy being able to be hands-on with them. Because it starts with, to me, the doorway to these young people is using financial wellness. From financial wellness, I've become mentor, I've become godfather, I've become aunt, all of these things, to now when they are faced with decisions that they have to make, they come looking for me. And so I knew this was a part of what God wanted me doing, at least for a season of my life. And so money was not a concern, because what I was making, they were like, you crazy to go in that field. And but I knew that God was going to supply. Right. And so being able to provide financial wellness to these young people, again, it's just the doorway for the lives that I get to see change. I just left an event and had one of my former students, he's working in investment services. And he told me he was interested in investment services back when he was a senior in high school, and I was able to get him connected, and he's now working full-time in that department.
And in our community and in our culture as African Americans, it's so key that we have the accessibility to that knowledge. I was telling Kevin off air, this is such an ironic show today. My father, Michael Jerome Taylor Sr., many of you may have known him. He was a bank president here in Jacksonville, Florida for over 24 years. Wow, that number. It was 24 years. And he was such a student when it came, a student and a teacher with finance, like you were telling us. And literally to this day, me and my brothers and others that, just loved him and had that great relationship are able to utilize some of those principles and disciplines even today, because of that knowledge, the passion, the commitment that he had, and just long term kind of seeing that. Because as you were stating with the connection with the young people, it was truly it's just a tool that God is using to kind of forge that connection that will impact their entire lives. What would you say was the buy-in when you first start working, or what is the buy-in that you use or have seen when working with young people in finance?
To me, it's just seeing what I grew up around. And I'm grateful to have grown up in a 2-parent home. My dad, always had these conversations, and still to this day, I'm 37 years old, but are you saving your money? So, him and my mom having these conversations with us about, saving money and dreaming, right? Seeing yourself beyond the north side, seeing yourself beyond having to rent, things of that nature. And so when I get to connect with these young people, I want to give them what my parents gave me, and that is the opportunity to dream, to see yourself beyond where you currently are. I had, when I was in high school, my desire when I graduated was to purchase my first car. And I did that with cash.
Wow.
At the age of 30, I purchased my first home.
Yes.
Age of 35, I refinanced a 30-year mortgage into a 15-year mortgage.
Come on.
With the interest rate under 3%.
Come on.
Right.
Okay, that's what we need to be talking about. We're going to
get
into that. Yes.
So I take what I'm actually doing.
Yes.
Because you got to be doing it if you're going to try to be an example for young people.
Yes.
You can't just tell them a bunch of lip service. You have to actually be living that.
Especially this generation.
Oh, absolutely. Because they're going to try you.
Oh, listen. They want to make sure that you are about your talk.
Absolutely.
They know how to follow up. They know how to read, between the lines. They know how to research and say, well, according to this, or I noticed that you did this and you posted this. So they keep us accountable to make sure that we are actually, doing what we say. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us about the program that you're actually doing with the kids right now.
So right now, I get to manage an internship.
Okay.
And with the internship, we are exposing these students to systems in banking. We are exposing them to financial wellness. And the financial wellness piece I love because we teach them financial wellness to empower them and to take that information back home to their families, but also in turn for them to go into the community on campus and teach financial wellness. So we teach them about interview skills. We teach them about email etiquette, how to properly answer a phone. So again, the financial education piece is just the doorway.
Yes.
But we're giving them, people like to say soft skills, but they're really fundamental skills that they're going to need after high school in order for them to be successful. I always tell students there's no reason why you should graduate and you have an entry-level position.
Right.
With the skill set that you have, you should be able to go into something a little bit higher that's leading you into your career.
I love that. And given that this generation of young people, they are so innovative. They have the entrepreneurship, niche to be able to create wealth, to be able to be forward thinkers when it comes to money. It seems like that is beneficial for this type of program because they are doing things already, whether it's DJing, whether it's doing hair, whether it's walking dogs, like they're branded.
Absolutely.
And so even kind of tapping into what they're already interested in and showing them what they can do to really build that lasting wealth for themselves, modeling it for their families, and their current families, and then their families to come. I bet that's something that's really intriguing.
Absolutely. And when I have a chance to speak with students, I also speak with parents. Because, when we think about building generational wealth, you hear that so much.
Yes.
We're going to build generational wealth. Well, you can't build generational wealth if you don't have a foundation.
You gotta have a foundation.
Education is the foundation to that. I think about when you're building a home, right? You have concrete. Okay, so that's the concrete is the financial education, but if you don't mix any water, which is application, you just have two different products.
We're going to talk more about this. We're going to get ready to take a break, but you just said something. You got to have concrete, but I'm going to take it deeper. You got to have land. You got to have somewhere to even lay the concrete on, which I would equate land to a desire.
Absolutely.
We're going to get into that because that just stuck a little, that pricked me right there. So you gave me some songs, which I always ask my guests to give me some of your favorite inspirational songs that just kind of motivate you in the field that you're in to keep you going. And one of them is Captured by Your Love.
Yes.
By your bishop.
Absolutely. Yes.
Bishop George Davis featuring Gail Holmes. Enjoy Captured by Your Love following these commercials. It goes so fast. It's like already 6 feet.
I'm like, what?
All right.
That's right.
Yes, with the crowd, y'all. We got to break it out. We got to do it. This is good. I love this too, which is I'm like, Lord, thank you, because every week when I get to do these interviews, he always kind of, it's because it's God. It's God. He shows you another element, like, well, what about this?
Yeah.
Let's tackle this to challenge the viewers, because we can get comfortable with some of these topics and think we already know it until we really hear it from a different angle or perspective, and it challenges us, because that's me. So I'm like, you got to have some space.
Yeah.
We got to create that space so a foundation can be laid. If I haven't even created space, or like I said, a desire or something inspiring to say, you know what, I need to deal with my finances.
Yeah.
We need to attack this. So I'm going to create this space to either read an article, listen to a podcast, have a conversation, so they can tell me what concrete I need to lay down in order to start building that wealth. Because we get caught up in, generational prosperity. Okay, but what does that look like?
Yeah, and you think about, our culture, we don't even like to go to the doctor. We won't go for a physical, and a financial checkup is just that. It's a physical, and the thing that we fear the most is the honesty.
Yes.
I gotta be open and honest that, yes, I am spending too much. No, I'm not saving enough. You just gotta do it. Because if you don't go to the doctor, you don't know that you have a growth. You don't know that this is going on in your blood.
Right.
And then when it blows up, you're like, oh my God, somebody do something. That could have been prevented. Right? Bankruptcy can be prevented if you just humble yourself. Pride honestly keeps people from that, right? So when you get over the pride and what people think, it's okay. I tell people the car that I drive, the house I live in, I'm not a millionaire. I'm going to get there one day. But even when I get there, I understand that money is a tool. And it's meant to help, again, build you. If I'm not opening up college funds, for my children, if I'm not doing all these things, then what am I doing?
Because you think about people who win the lotto, multiple winners of winning, millions, bankrupt, lose it all in 5 years. Why? Because there wasn't a foundation that was laid for them to know the benefits and not being selfish too.
Yeah.
Really have it, because at the end of the day, we can just spend all the money we want on ourselves, get as many credit cards as we want for what we want, because this is what I want right now, not thinking about the consequence, who's paying for this, what is it doing to our community, our economy. So that selfishness has to be moved as well. For us to say, you know what, I may have to do a few things right now. I may have to do a few things right now. I don't want to do all that I want to do later. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get a little, not personal, but thinking about in my age range, I'm in my 40s, and so you think about there are some things that should be so solidified at this point in life. And I believe I do, but there's always more we can do, but we can get off track too.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, I'm doing good, but how can we dip a little bit in here? Then it's like,
that happens.
Okay,
it's called life. Life
do you hear me?
life.
Do you hear me?
You got a savings account, but you got a savings account for the kid. I'm like, well, you know what? Actually, I wouldn't expect them for the roof to start leaking. And
so what do you do?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about creating that space, laying that foundation, and, what do we do when emergencies happen?
Emergency fund, that's always important.
And having multiple funds. I know that's something I need to really reassess. Is just having, you got your emergency fund, almost like emergency fund for home, emergency fund for the kids, separate emergency funds for the different entities of life, because
I think about, and I always tell people, start small. Get you a jar, toss your change in it. And that's how I begin to build my son's savings. All my change I would just throw in there. And I start this thing now where, like, if I get $1, it's like I just started putting them away, and my wife was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I don't even know. I'm just saying, like, I've just always, and not that I have a love for money for church folk, but I've always, like, I want to make sure that I never have to want for money. Like, money, I need to be able to just, and my grandfather taught me that a man should always have money on him. So I've always made sure that I have a piece of money somewhere.
Literally, a piece of money.
Yes.
$20 here, $5. You got something tangible. Because those cards and apps and stuff can malfunction, and at the end of the day, I need some money.
Cash is king.
Cash is king. Which is interesting. I don't know how much we can talk about this, but just different places that don't even take cash anymore. Like, it's card, it's
Bento.
Yeah.
I put them out there, but it is card.
Man, I went to Legoland last year. No cash.
Wow.
No cash-free park. All card. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I had to cash my card. And most of us, because of discipline, you leave the card in the car.
Yeah.
You take the cash, because I know when this is gone. But which is clearly why they do it that way. Yeah. That's a strategy for them to get you to spend more, because it's like, you know how much it's going to be. Correct. So you got to swipe out that card.
And you're not checking to see, okay, this is pending. No, you're just going.
Man. How is Bishop doing?
He's doing good. He's doing good. There's just good things going on. November, we'll be doing At the Movie series. So we are gearing up. The announcement, we'll be doing 4 services. So, but he won't be preaching 4 services.
On a Sunday? 4 Sunday?
Wow. So we'll have 8, 10, 12, and 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Because At the Movies is such a huge thing in the community. And I know a lot of other churches do it, but it just, I love it because, again, it is Now, this is stuff that had to grow on me because, you know, back
Trust.
we were in church.
Non-traditional. Very non-traditional.
So I had to like pray and fast and seek the
Yeah,
Lord.
is this really God?
Heart and mind. You know, they ain't singing hymns no more.
Right.
So, but he's doing good. He is truly a very intelligent man.
Yeah.
And he, you know, again, a human, and that's what I can appreciate about him. That,
Absolutely.
you know, he's going to seek God about everything.
Absolutely.
You know, and
No
you
doubt.
can take it or leave it.
No doubt.
You know, and his heart is truly for the community.
Always has been.
So if church looks different than what you're accustomed to,
Well, the world looks different, and I think that's the part when it comes to the faith. Just at the end of the day, we know that we have to make sure that we are. And that was Captured by Your Love by Bishop George Davis featuring Gail Holmes. If you're just now tuning in, you're listening to the In the Know radio show with me, Michellita Taylor. And in the studio, I have Mr. Kevin Brown, who is serving up all things finance, wealth, building savings, helping us to be disciplined with our money, especially as these holidays about to come. You guys already know. It's the end of the year and our eyes get bigger than our pockets. And so we need to be reminded of some things so that way we are good stewards of our finances and we're thinking beyond the holidays. We're thinking beyond the trips. We're thinking beyond all those different things that give us that temporary gratification. And so prior to the commercial break, we were talking about generational wealth. We hear that so much at the church and our families. You want to build generational wealth. But it's become a catchphrase. More than anything, we forget about the tools. We forget about all the things that are necessary in order to build that generational wealth. And I kind of came up with, or Holy Spirit just dropped in me, we have to create that space. We need the land.
yes.
We need the land so that we have somewhere to place the foundation to create that generational wealth. Because sometimes we don't even have a desire. Because we're just caught up in the moment. I'm living my best life, you know. I'm doing it for the gram. I'm doing it because I want people to see that I'm living this extravagance. But yet behind the scenes, there is no plan for tomorrow. So what are some things that we should be doing practically for our families, and especially if we have young adults in the home, to be able to model that and it not just be a catchphrase of we're trying to establish generational wealth?
Yeah. Well, I would say education is key. Education and application.
There you go.
Right? Because you can be educated on how to, I learned how to do my own taxes, right?
Wow. That's impressive.
But to learn that and to do it are two different things.
Right.
I was nervous about doing it, but now that I do it, I can do it, right? So you can learn how to learn all things about budgeting and investing, but until you actually put that education towards something, apply it towards something, you're just kind of wasting your time.
Right.
And you're holding yourself back. So the best thing that families can start doing is, number one, being educated about how much, what's the purpose of money?
Yeah.
What in this household, what's the purpose of money? How do we look at money? So that's the first thing. And then exposing your young person to responsibilities. I don't believe in just giving, right? There's an age range. You know, I have a 7-year-old, so I'm teaching him about earning money, right? And doing things, not necessarily seeking to get somebody's job, but what can you do to earn money for your own self, build your own business. But just starting very basic. I believe sometimes we try to complicate things, and what I see is that when things are complicated, that fear is there, and we'll tend to just back away because we don't want to face it, right? And you can't avoid it,
right?
You know, money, insurance, things of that nature. That's how you end up with families. You know, somebody died, and now we got GoFundMe and this and that. And I know we talk about finances, but if we handle and we face this stuff, in the beginning,
normalize the conversation.
There you go.
Yeah, make it a part of it. How we communicate and using the financial terms when it comes to finances. I know you had mentioned, you know, banks versus credit unions.
Absolutely.
Savings account versus checking account. Yeah. We got Roth IRAs and 401ks. You know, just really kind of thinking about using that language in the home so that way we know long term it's present, or it's temporary or present benefits and long-term benefits.
Yeah. And saving is key. One of the things that I mentioned is when we think about savings, most people's mindset is that I can't afford to save. you can't afford not to save. If you go to the store and you're using cash and they're giving you quarters and nickels and dimes and pennies, that's money to save.
Yes.
Get you a jar.
Yep.
Put that change in there.
Yes.
Get you a box. Put those $1. Start small.
Yes.
Because it all builds up.
It
Like
does.
we're still collecting change.
Yes.
You know, you can still use it, but you just have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the key thing.
It's funny. I have a 3-year-old. You have a 7-year-old. I have a 3-year-old, and she has a little princess bank, a piggy bank, not a piggy bank, but it's a Princess Castle bank. And so I know that's something that I'm trying to just make as a habit too. Same to your point with the change. If I have change, give it to her, let her count it, what it is, put it inside. We can play store. Just practical things that we can do at all ages to kind of introduce to our children what money is, what it's used for, how can we acquire it, and just the responsibility of that type of money. I always think about when I have these types of conversations, especially about young people, Cosby Show. Theo.
Yes. I
don't know if y'all remember that episode, but Theo thought he was grown. They had to pay bills.
Took all his money.
And he had a little life lesson where everything had a price tag on it. And I feel like we as adults almost need to have that Theo experience too. Yeah. Because everything has gone up, you know, running into the grocery store isn't like it used to be. Going to the pump isn't like it used to be. So there are things that we have to do to kind of set aside and be prepared for some of those daily activities. What are some things that you would say that we could do just to make sure that some of those day-to-day responsibilities for items are always in place? Because nobody should be on the side of the road because of gas.
Well,
right?
Do you really want me to?
I do. Start? This is why you're here. Please.
Number one, stop eating out so much. The fast food demon is got folks by the throat. We don't
have time to cook. I don't have time to cook, Kevin. I don't have time.
And I'm saying this for me too. Because this morning I had to make a decision, okay, do I go to McDonald's and grab breakfast or do I get this banana from the house that I already paid for? So I'm going to get this banana, which is also healthier for me as well, and because we can avoid hospital bills and all that medication.
Because health is wealth.
There you go. But again, simple things. Put yourself on a challenge. Maybe it's every other week. Okay, this week I'm not going to eat out. However much you would spend on eating out, put that money aside. See how much you actually save.
Yeah.
Show yourself how much you're actually spending. And a lot of times that actually helps people to kind of start thinking like, okay, when you think about it this way, it's an investment.
Right.
Every time you go to your favorite fast food restaurant and you swipe your card and get your meal, and that's like $10, $15, you just made an investment. You're helping to build somebody else's empire. You're making sure that their children and their children's children, they will never have to work again. So you're willing to do this for a perfect stranger. You'll probably never meet this person, or you're standing in line for a $350 pair of shoes for a person that's never going to give you a high five. Let's get our perspective. Right?
Yeah.
And so when you think of it as investments, how much am I investing in my own self?
I love that. That's a good practical tip. everything that I'm giving out to someone else financially, time as well, is an investment that you cannot guarantee a return on.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to those quick, temporary, conveniences that we utilize our money. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's almost like renting, no shade, but it's like renting every month. You're not going to get anything back from that. So I can make a decision to say, I'm going to run up to the store, cook this food, because of the amount of money I would be spending for one meal, I could spend at the grocery store for maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
That is kind of saving the money for me and investing back in me and my household.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. So give us some basics. We're going to go to school for just a little bit, okay? And it may not be basic because it's a good reminder. But tell us about savings accounts. So we know we have different types of savings accounts. What type of savings accounts, if we don't have a whole lot of money, we have something that we want to put into an account that is going to work for us? What kind of savings accounts would you recommend?
I would recommend starting with just a regular savings account. If you have a kid, most financial institutions, they offer some type of kid specific savings account. Most accounts, in order to start earning interest or dividends, you have to have at least $50. And that's why you mentioned banks versus credit unions. You got to understand where you're putting your money.
Right. Tell us about that. Give us that.
So, number one, banks are great because we need them, right? If you are a traveling nurse or something like that, you're going to need a bank, right? Your credit unions are typically in the state that you live and play in. But banks are also owned by shareholders. So if I have Brown Bank and Taylor has investments in my bank, us making money, I'm going to have to pay some of that out. And so I'm going to now add on fees to my members, right? Because again, we got to pay you.
Right.
So I need to add on fees. That's how they're making sure that they get paid. With a credit union is owned by its members. There are no shareholders. It is governed by typically a board of directors who volunteer their time to do that. And so a credit union then can pay out better interest rates, better dividends to its members because they don't have shareholders.
Gotcha.
So knowing where you're putting your money, knowing what the fees are. I don't talk down on banks, right? Because some people actually need them, right? But it's good to have both.
Yeah.
Because if you are in a situation, let's just say with saving, and you wanting to put maybe $1,000 away, is that bank going to add money into that through the interest rate, or are they going to take it away from fees, right? Because you may have to keep so much in there. And you may have to do so many transactions per month in order to avoid a fee, or have your direct deposit come there to avoid a fee versus a credit union. There could still be fees involved, but typically there are little to no fees when you work with a credit union. So that's always, that's a project that I have my students work on.
Yes.
When you're talking about a savings account, do your research first.
Yes.
Find out, just because, that's who grandma's always had, well, that was probably only what was available then.
Right.
You got to find out what's going to work best for you. So starting with knowing who you're going to go with, bank or credit union, and then find out what the interest rate is. So shop the interest rates, and then making sure that you have the appropriate amount. If it's $50 to start it, put that $50 in so that you're earning some type of interest.
And how often should someone look into the interest rate that a bank is actually offering?
So it doesn't change often, but I would say on a monthly basis. You can, always go to your bank or financial institution's website, and that's information that's right there for you, so you can see what the interest rate is. And typically, right now, it ain't changing for nobody.
Right.
So unless you do like a CD, which is a certificate of deposit, something like that, a money market account, which is a tiered account, those accounts are where you're going to earn the most interest at. Okay.
And that's based upon what's being deposited?
Correct.
Okay.
So let's
that'll
just
be another means of saving. So
Yes.
your basic saving, determining if it's from the bank or from the credit union, and then we have the CDs.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That would be a little bit more than the $50.
Right.
Okay.
And they also have a term. So with CDs, that's pretty much they help you to save. I put it that way. So if you do hit the lottery, right, or you get some extra Christmas money to open up that CD, because you could do a 12, 24, 60-month CD, and the more money that you put in, the longer the term, you're going to earn more money on that. You can do those short-term CDs. The thing about a CD is that if you try to take that money out before the deadline, or before the term is up, or maturity date, you're going to be penalized. So you're going to miss out on money that you could have earned. So if you're going to do a CD, make sure that it is money that you're okay with sitting aside and you're not going to have to need it anytime.
For a while.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about emergency fund, which is what I want to go into next in terms of savings. Because that's something that we all should have.
Absolutely.
During the break, I know I was mentioning having multiple emergency funds. Just kind of talk about that, and maybe how someone can determine what type of savings account to use for an emergency fund, or if it may look non-traditional, like putting the money between the mattresses at home.
So
some people do that too.
When it comes to building an emergency fund, what you have to look at is your total expenses, and you want to look at that for 3 to 6 months. And I know that can be a stretch, and you just have to do what works for you, but you need to look at all of your expenses, from getting your hair, your nails, whatever amount of money you would need to live your life the way that you are if, God forbid, you lost your job.
Right.
That's how you start building an emergency fund. So starting with at least $1,000. And some people you have to save to get to that. That's okay. You got to, again, start somewhere.
Right.
But the emergency fund, it has to be designated just for that emergency. So new pair of shoes for, you know, a trip, that can't be, you know, an emergency. When you're doing that type of account, you want to put it in a savings account. You don't want to put it in a checking account.
Right.
Because you could easily get a debit card. And so, you know.
It's gone.
You know.
I got an extra $500. What did that
you know, went to Vegas, went on a cruise, and you know what?
Gone.
I got my. No, make sure it's in an account where there's no card connected to it.
Yeah.
And that's an emergency fund. You talk about having multiple as your family grows or as things happen in your life. It's okay to set up multiple savings accounts like that, but making sure you don't have access to it.
I would even venture to say too, I know when I was younger, started saving because I know myself, and this is where that self-analysis and just being really honest with yourself comes in. I had a savings account at another bank, did not have a card, and the bank was miles away.
Yeah.
That I would have to literally be so intentional about going there to withdraw that money.
Yeah.
Because it was for that reason, emergency, because I knew this was something I was building discipline over. I needed to set myself up for success, just to kind of build that up, to know that, okay, I have the mindset to know that this truly is when something happens.
Correct.
And that I don't have the funds, you know, to take care of it out of my checking, so I need to go into my savings. So those are some things that we have to do too.
Yeah, make it
Just
hard.
really being honest.
Make it hard because again, you know, I have an account that is like out of state, and the only way for us to access that is through online. And so we think about transferring money. Number one, it takes 3 days.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of time to think, okay,
Yes,
like,
really
do I
is.
really need this money?
Yes.
You know, and so making it hard for yourself, because you know yourself. You know, if your credit union or your bank is right around the corner from your house, you can just go right.
Friend just called you, girl, we finna go out for the weekend. Oh, come, yeah, let me run up here real quick. And before you know it,
It's gone.
it's gone. We're gonna take one more break. And we come back, we are going to talk about these holidays that are coming up.
Yes,
we got to get into this because I want us to be so prepared prior to although the Christmas trees I think are already out.
Oh, all of them.
I think everything is already
They're
visible.
about past Halloween, so.
Man, so we need to have that fortitude already built up in us and our finances ready so that we can conquer and finish strong. So we're going to do one more song. I'm going to let you choose which song. So you had For the Rest of My Life. Love that. He's a Battle Axe, and then you had given me Go, Believe the Lie, or God.
God.
Which one?
You know, I love some old school gospel.
Let's do it.
I'm torn between Battle Axe. I'm gonna go with Battle Axe.
Okay.
That's for my grandma. Do that for my grandma.
We're gonna do this for Grandma. So
Yes.
He's a Battle Axe by Georgia Mass Choir. Enjoy. And again, a great conversation. It's already 1:41. So yeah, we're gonna talk about our kids.
Okay, and I do have just 2 resources as far as like websites. Next Gen Personal Finance.
Yes.
Very good.
Okay.
EverFi, both of those are 2 good websites for them to go on, and like their kids can do online courses right there for
I love
financial.
it. What's the age range for it?
They're like, I think it's 9 through 12. EverFi is 9 through 12th grade. Next Gen, I think they have a full curriculum regardless of the age.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, some practical things we could do to like allow the kids to get an idea of, let them know the budget. You know, some people say Santa, you know, whatever that looks like for the families.
So put in on this. So
Santa on a budget.
yeah.
Santa said, well, this is what we got. He might have a little something extra, but let's go ahead and get the catalog. Let's get online and see, like really being practical, breaking it down to them, letting them know this is just one holiday. It ain't even really about you. Those of us that believe, we know that. And thinking about throughout the year, all the way, just practical things that we can kind of not fall into that trap of, what society places on us in terms of that urgency to have, only to a couple weeks later, I want something else.
Yeah, yeah. And I see that with my son. I think last Christmas or Christmas before last, my parents had got him so many toys. We have a Honda Pilot. It felt we had to let the seats down.
Yeah.
And so some toys he got a chance to play with right away. Some he saved. But I'm like how much money in total was this?
Man.
And how much could y'all have put into savings? Of course, my mom was like, well, that ain't none of your business, and I already have a savings set up for him. His grandparents.
Listen, I literally just left my mom. Like, I thought it was Christmas today. My mom's with my daughter now. Bags. I said, well, Merry Christmas.
Because that's what it's going to be for. His birthday is in November, so
you hear me?
Y'all buying all this stuff.
Hello.
So, yeah.
Hello.
Well, we do that, man. I can remember having Christmas where you have all this stuff, and it's like, oh, I got this, got that. And our parents, they do it because it's like competition. And I'm like, you're not competing with anybody when you can't pay
your
rent
bank account
and all this other kind of stuff.
The aftermath, and even reimagining. I know my family, my brother, and some other family, changing what holidays look like. Do experiences, do a trip. You know, create something like really maybe changing the traditions of what holidays, you know, look like financially. Maybe getting something, or you know, just it really goes into that mental shift when it comes to a lot of things, because everything in some way is tied to $1.
Yeah.
And if we don't take hold and control of that, you will be always behind the 8 ball trying to catch up, because
Putting Christmas on credit cards. No.
it's crazy.
And it's summertime and you still paying off last Christmas. Pride.
Everything. Christmas, birthday parties, weddings, baby shower, everything is so grand.
Oh gosh.
And everyone is in debt.
Don't get engaged. I'm like, is this the wedding? Like, it's the announcement, the proposal.
The proposal, then you got the engagement party. I know you tell me all the things. The bridal shower, all of them come with a price tag that is not investing really in anything but other people, because you're paying for the other people.
Yeah, that's all you're paying for. That's all you like. My wedding, we paid $10,000. That was cash.
That's it.
This was the budget. Whatever it get us.
Because it's about us.
Yeah.
Because it's about us.
And we got to feed them, so we don't need real napkins. And you know, like if you want us to have real napkins, then you are more than welcome to sew that. But no.
I love it.
I'm like, take yourself a nice
I already told
honeymoon.
myself, Lord's will, when it happened, destination wedding. Here's the information if you'd like to meet us over there. We might do a party some months later, but that's it. Yes, yeah. But yeah, definitely that mindset when it comes to how we're spending money. Just taking just those few moments to really, literally count up the cost and see in its long term, who is it truly benefiting?
Yeah.
And if it's not immediately benefiting your family and the legacy that you're trying to create, then it's not important.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the kids say they love the Jordan. Well, I won't even say Jordans, but they'll get outfits just for grad night. Oh, I'm just gonna wear this grad night. I ain't gonna wear it no more. And I mean, I've done it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wear this. I ain't gonna wear this no more.
Right.
But I'm like, I just spent how much? Like, no, we gonna wear this again.
From the words of Tiffany Haddish, I spent my good money on this dress. I'm going to wear it to the Grammys. I'm going to wear it to the Emmys. I'm going to wear it to the Hip Hop Music Awards. I'm going to wear it to this premiere. Yeah. It's my money.
And I'm like, so what?
And
you ain't lying. If you don't like it, you
and
don't
we
have
have truly, I've been guilty of getting caught up in that, where you're like, oh, I done took a picture of this. I didn't already, okay, is it clean? Okay, we can wear it again.
I'm like, it's not being frugal.
Yeah.
To me, it's just been, it's been smart.
And it's practical. It's clothes. Yeah. It's just stuff for a temporary appearance at something. But it's society, and it's so connected to the environment, and gosh, mental health is so many webs when it comes to how we're utilizing our money for things and the purposes of it. So you're gonna have to come back on.
Hey, I'm open to it.
You have to come back on, because we didn't even scratch the surface on some things that I wanted to talk about. This is good.
You know, and I was so nervous because I'm like, man, like, okay, what I'm gonna say,
And it's good too that we did it this way. Like I said, last week which I'm growing, and this is why I'm doing live, because I want to see the evolution of myself kind of grow. Yeah. But the first month, I had like pre-scripted questions. The topics were pretty much the same, but each person was different, so they were able to give a different perspective. But last week I said, you know what? And even my guest, she said, don't give me no questions. I don't do well with that. Just ask me, you know. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm kind of the same way. It just makes it fluid because you're the expert. So it just really makes it more organic and fluid. And so there's just so much more that we can talk about. So I'll probably have you back first of the year after the holidays. See how everybody survived.
Get that financial checkup.
Those who didn't listen to this broadcast.
Yeah. Get that annual checkup.
Yes, and get yourself together for 2025.
Yeah.
Because
I used to hate looking at my credit card, and I'm like, let me just face it.
Man.
Like, I did it.
Listen,
you know?
when I tell you I have a bottom line, I have it up on I have an inspiration board in my bedroom. And that was the Georgia Mass Choir. He's a battle axe, and we're going to use that battle axe to crush some of this debt. Absolutely. In the name. We're going to crush some of these mindsets when it comes to how we're utilizing our money, how we are investing our money, because we want to be good stewards of our money, and we want to be wealthy.
Absolutely. We
deserve to be wealthy. God has given us all that we need in order to be wealthy. So we have just a few more minutes, and we're going to talk really quickly about how we can set ourselves up for success before the holidays. So give us 3 things, Kevin. What can we do? 3 things we can do to set ourselves up before these holidays kick in.
Number 1, have a plan.
Okay.
Number 2, stick to the plan.
Oh gosh. That's it.
That's to me, I know you said 3. Have a plan, stick to the plan.
Yep.
And then, that's
I'm going to add a 3rd. Have an accountability partner.
There you go.
To help you stick to that plan.
There you go.
That's something we really don't do. You know, privacy is none of your business. You all in my bank, you all in my pocket. But I think most people have a trusted family member or friend, and most of us are kind of having these same internal conversations with ourselves about not having enough money, or you do have a little bit of money and you're not sure how to utilize it, and you already know your weaknesses when it comes to holidays, that compulsive shopping, the making excuses, I deserve this kind of shopping. So I feel like maybe having that accountability partner, let them in on what you're trying to accomplish. Let them see your bank account. Yeah. Let them see how much money you're working with, so that way they can help you to be successful. Yeah.
One thing I do like is the envelope system.
Yes.
By Dave Ramsey, and my coworkers, they laugh at me because I go when I do my transactions, I'm like, I need like 9 envelopes because everything has an envelope, and even my wife just celebrated her 40th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, wifey.
Yeah, so I took her to Chicago, but none of that was on the credit card. It was all money that...
Talk about the envelope system real quick. And this is something good for the kiddos.
Oh, absolutely.
This is really, really good. Talk about that.
So the envelope system is pretty much, it's your budget. It's everything that you're using. So it's your hair, it's grocery money, it's celebration, because we don't always budget for that. Birthdays are coming up and you're like, oh my gosh, everybody's birthday back to back.
Oh man.
Put a few dollars aside in an envelope every paycheck for celebrations. Blow money. I like to go out and just kind of spend, so I have blow money that's set aside for that. Grocery money, things of that nature, but making sure that you have an envelope for every single thing.
That blow money.
Yeah, we call it blow money.
We be doing it anyway.
Oh, we gonna do it, so you might as well just know that you have an envelope. Yeah.
That's feel good blow money too.
There you go.
Man, here go my blow money right now.
It don't need to be a whole lot.
Right, and it might be different every month.
Yeah.
Right, because some things go up and down, so the quantity in those envelopes may shift.
There you go.
Just a little bit. So kind of keeping that in mind as well. And then our kids can get involved with something like this. They can,
especially if you have teenagers that are working. Help them understand, and they may not be paying bills, but your kids need to understand the purpose behind giving. So whether that's tithing and offering to a church, or whether that's to another nonprofit, they need to understand about saving. They need to understand about spending. So there are 3 different categories that you can work with your team in. So helping them to, however much you want to give, put that in an envelope. However much you want to save, let's go ahead and put that in an envelope. And how much you want to spend, put that in an envelope.
And it's so important too, as parents have to really stand their ground, because kids don't want to spend their money.
They want to spend yours.
They want to spend yours.
Yeah.
But don't you got $15? Yeah, mama, but you got, okay, but you have $15.
Correct.
So you're going to spend your $15.
Yeah.
And when that $15 is gone, then you got to wait for the next supply.
And $14.99 is not $14.99.
Hello,
add
and
on
the tax.
So
we got to be clear. We got to be honest.
Teaching them how to spend.
Yes.
Teaching them that, no, this is not, unless it's tax-free season, you're going to have to pay taxes on that.
What are some things that we can, or some resources that you can recommend where, because sometimes kids, they just don't want to listen to us. Now, they will listen to their teachers or some of their friends. Young people are having those conversations about money, which is great. I mean, I'm being challenged by it, things that I see out there. But what are some things that we can do at home just to kind of continue to encourage that?
So there are two resources that I will provide. Number one is Next Gen Personal Finance. They actually have curriculum there that your student can get online, learn financial education, wellness for themselves. And then there's also EverFi. Again, another platform for students all ages.
Spell that for us, EverFi.
EverFi.
Okay.
So EverFi, they can get on there. It's arcade games.
Oh, nice.
I think that's Next Gen has the arcade games, but they make it very interactive for your students. But then also YouTube.
Yes.
There's so many YouTube videos on financial wellness that you can look up. But then also, if you have an account somewhere, it is their job to help you get to that place financially that you're trying to get to. So visit your local financial institution, sit down with them. Listen, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. Let them talk to your child about even your child building a budget. Let them see them working with you to build a budget, understand credit.
That's so good. Letting them have that life experience. Me and my daughter went to the store, to Publix today, and I was intentional. I said, you know what? I'm going to let you walk. Let's get the basket. I let her carry the basket, her pick out. Thank goodness for Publix, buy one, get one was on point. Save some money today. Praise the Lord. And she put the food in the basket. She helped scan. It was just the practical involving her in those routines. And those are things that we can do with our young people. Don't keep them in the dark.
Yeah.
They're going to keep us honest and accountable. They're going to make us think twice when we want to buy that extra shirt and we really don't need it.
Correct.
Because
you
we're
just told
telling
them that you couldn't
on
it for them this week, but you buying tickets to go see Boys to Men.
Oh,
all right.
All the things. The truth serum.
Yes.
But we want to be so prepared and live. The Bible says that God came that we might have life and life more abundantly.
Yeah.
Not just the daily needs met, not just the basics of your bills being paid, gas in the tank, food in the fridge. That's not what he came for, that overflow, that abundance, not just so that we could live that kind of lifestyle, but so that we have plenty to bless others with.
Yes.
And that's that part that we all can do a little repentance when it comes to, giving to our neighbor and really serving our community, because we do get just so self-centered when it comes to our resources. And I have enough for, us four and no more. When God is like, no, if you steward what I give you, and I'm speaking to myself right now, you steward what you have, you will have more than enough. And that's just that law of reciprocity. Give, and it'll be given back to you.
And especially during the holiday seasons, because people think it's money that I have to give. I had an opportunity to volunteer at the Ronald McDonald House, and every day there are volunteers that come in and they prepare meals for families whose children are going through treatments.
Yeah.
That is giving. Right? You may not think I got the money, but you may know how to cook.
Yeah.
Find a place that you can give.
Yes. And I'm so glad you said that, because some people, it is a challenge. Resources, it's tight, but there is another way that we can give, and we can expect a return in a different form. So just because you sow in time doesn't mean somebody's just going to give you more time.
Yeah.
Your reciprocity may be the finances, or
Absolutely.
getting that bill paid, or getting someone to watch your child, whatever may, have required that money. You're still able to expect a return on it.
Absolutely.
Kevin, this was great.
It was great.
Will you come back?
Absolutely will.
We're going to have Kevin back on the show after the new year, so that way we could do a financial check-in and see how you guys did over the holidays, because they're well, I want to say they're here. October is next week.
Christmas trees are out. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere, so we want to make sure that you all survive the holidays. We're going to talk about some things during the holiday season, but what a better way to have a plan, stick to the plan, and then get someone that you can have help you be accountable for you sticking to the plan that you have created for your financial success. Yes. You have been listening to the In the Know radio show with your girl, Michellita Taylor, Miss Black Jacksonville 2024. I am so honored to be here with you guys today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We're going to end out the show with one final song, and this is one of the songs that I love. He didn't know that, but the song is For the Rest of My Life. And during the rest of our life, we want to make sure that we are building that generational wealth, that we are being good stewards of our minds, of our bodies, of our talents, and of our treasures, so that we can do all the things that God has intended for us to do. Enjoy this Saturday, and I hope to see you on next week on the In the Know radio show right here on the Victory Station, AM 1360, FM 94.7. Have a great Saturday. I forgot I wasn't going to be here next week. I won't be here next week, y'all. I got a pageant meeting. Hey, Miss Judy. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you got something out of it. I know I did. Kevin challenged me. We got to go home and we got to do some things. We got to make some decisions. But I will see you guys again in 2 weeks. All right? Bye.
In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know, in the know. This is the place to be. Turn your radio station to Victory. Where the Spirit of the Lord is liberty. Tune in to the station that set you free. We going up right now. Please tune in, don't touch that dial. We so blessed that you want to know how. Not talking, we just living out loud.